Right, well, let's see. What have we got here? This is the first time, so I'm actually now learning how to go live. What's this? Let's have a look. Okay, so this is how I learn. Throw myself into the deep end and see where I go. There we go. Happy days. I believe we're on. I hope we're on. There we go. Well, guys, one person. Who have we got? Who have we got here? Can we click? Can we find out? Let's have a look. Hey, it's Adam. You all right, Adam? Oh, Fizz. I like it's Fizz. You all right, Fizz? How are you doing, buddy? Tell you what, it's been a bit of a learning experience trying to get this going live. Malaki, if you put it for sort of later on, not good. Hey up, Col. You all right, mate? Good to see you. I've seen that, Fizz. Don't worry. I corrected myself. Hope you guys are all right. My day's just been one of hectic. Getting up late because I found I'm going to have a sleep in today. Yeah, I'm going to have a sleep in today, and I had a little bit of sleeping, so I slept until it was about 10 o'clock actually. And I come down, tidied up, and do all the rest of the stuff, and then try and get sorted for tonight. What's this? Where's your Halfords Grey? Well, Halfords Grey is actually a bit expensive. Call. All right. So the grey I use is, you'll love it. It's Boys Grey Primer. Yeah. Get yourself to Boys, a £5. They do. I think apparently they do Archeon as well for about 20 quid. So, all right. Well, all I'm doing is literally trying to get all my Space Wolves painted up. As you can see, I've still got quite a bit to do, but I have done quite a lot. Yes, you'll let Gav know. Oh, so at the moment, just dry brushing my long fangs. So yeah, we'll give it a few more minutes before we sort of go into sort of little chit chats about also see who else is going to join. All right, guys. Cheers for joining anyway. I hope the audio's all right, as well as the camera quality. There we go. Quick as you like, painting some Space Wolves. It was a good game last night as well for D&D, for Fizz and Adam and Kane and all the rest of them. Good game. I mean, you got butchered, but good game. There we go. Right. Not looking too bad. Try and do this as quick as I can. I think as well, because I've tried with this scheduling bloody going live, just didn't work. So I had to sort of set up this new one because I didn't have a clue how you do it. So I think from now on, I'll just tell people I'm going live and on this day, and then I'll just turn up. I don't have to schedule stuff until I start becoming tech savvy. Yeah, this one day should be a good game. Well, I expect it to be a good game. Getting Strad, go and have a little chit chat with us, eh? Oh, what else we got? So yeah, so I'm actually doing some Sky Claws as well. painting them up. And then I'm going to move on to my wolfen, which is going to be a pain in the backside. But there we go. Oh, so what are you guys working on then? You painting much for 9th edition coming? I say painting, Fizz doesn't tend to paint much. But Col, you do. Do you paint, you get anything painted for 9th edition? There we go. I don't paint. Yeah, I know you don't paint, Fizz. Blood Angels. All right. There's a, Brad from the gaming club. He does Blood Angels and Thousand Suns, and we're going to do eventually, when lockdowns are done, we're going to do a little campaign, sort of like a little campaign, escalation campaign for the channel of Blood Angels versus Space Wolves, starting off at 500 points and working our way up to big apocalyptic game. So some nice models in the Blood Angels. Like, I do like the Sanguinian Guards. They're pretty cool. And maybe some Imperial Guard. Yeah, well, I painted lots of Imperial Guard. Lots. Camo colours. I prefer, when you're doing Imperial Guard, get loads of tanks. I think that's the way forward. Just rule of cool. Loads of tanks. We were 95. Oh yeah, yes. He actually sent me. Brad sent me a link to a video that he did. Oh, he was in about the 95th Rifles when he was 20-year-old and he had hair. So yeah, it's. He was saying that. I was talking to other people as well who were doing the reenactment over there. So. But trying to get as much as done. I did 2 units after our D&D game last night. I finished 2 units off. They were already busy at this stage. All the power armor was dry brushed blue. But I finished them off. Did all the markings of me infiltrators and incursors. So I've got 2 units now already done over there. So yeah, what's he saying? No, Carl, yeah, we're happy to get you on here as well. More the merrier. We're going to be moving into, because we've done a lot of battle reports on A Song of Ice and Fire. Obviously, it's a really good game. I love that game. But yeah, I will quite happily do any games on this channel, mate. Like we said, have a go, bring some stuff down, have a learn. I was watching a Twitch thing last night before I did my D&D game. It was a Studio 264, I believe it is, or something, on Twitch. Gaming guy. I used to be in the army with. Okay, a guy called Phil. Phil Harrison. He sort of started up a Twitch account, and he was doing Zombicide. Never played it. Seen it, and I've seen all the different expansions. It looked quite good. But yeah, it was. I guess it's who you play with as well. On there. All right. Oh, Phil's here now as well. All right, Phil, how are you doing? Says hello all. Currently working on my new scratch build. That I was gonna do an Imperial Guard regiment based around the Green Hours. Mate, do it. Make sure you do it and put me down as the one of the A Company medics. After a while, that'd have been awesome. I was actually going to think of doing some Space Marines, trying to be more like a Spartan as well. Going through a lot of conversions lately and thinking what I could do. Oh, actual Adam's here now. All right, Adam. Making terrain. I've seen your terrain pieces that you showed me, mate. They look awesome. It's going to be great for the D&D game we do. It's going to be absolutely epic. Might say that if you survive. You guys like to leave things half finished. core space or black sails. I'm well up. I will try everything. There you go. Yeah. So Phil, so the 267, not 264, sorry, 267 gaming. If you check that out, I think he's doing a grey night. Is it this Wednesday, I believe, Phil? Grey night versus Craft World, I believe. I think you said to me, against his brother in lockdown. I think that's going on there. So go and check it out. You know, got it's his new one, so try and help him out as much as we can. Grey nights, they're all converted up to Spartan. Oh, I'd have to see some of them, Phil. Show me some of your Spartans. That'll be good. That would be good. Don't worry, Adam. Last night was a good game. Nobody died. I mean, you haven't got much gear, but nobody died, so that's good. So there we go. Yeah, I'm actually quite looking forward to 9th edition 40k. I sort of left 40k for a little while after I played my Custodes. I got a bit bored with them winning all the time. They were just kind of a cheesy army anyway, but I got a bit bored, and it just got, especially our gaming community, it's just pure meta listing and stuff. There's no rule of cool at the moment, which is a bit of a pain. But yeah, I'm looking forward to 9th because it's actually now going to be a bit more close combat orientated. I think the gaming tables are supposed to be smaller, but I'm not cutting my table down. It's going to be 6v4. So if you play with me, it's going to be 6v4 or a 4v4 if you're playing smaller games. But yeah, the Overwatch rule is going to help us out as well, because I don't think they're going to have that many command points to be spending on Overwatch. Yeah, so it should be good for us. Yeah, definitely. I think it's definitely going to bring it a fair game at the moment. So everybody's going to get access to the command points. So if you have 500 points, you have so many command points, and if you go for the 1,000 points again, everybody has the same. Except if you're going to bring battalions and different detachments in it, then you do lose command points. So you've got to be careful of that, guys. So I can see a lot of big games going to be coming more of a brigade now, detachment, instead of like lots of little ones to get as many command points as possible. So yeah. Ooh, let's have a look then. You've sent some pictures. Let's have a look at these Spartans then. Nope, still not got them yet, Phil. I'll have to wait for them to turn up, I guess. Unless you're sending them in this way, which, nope. I'll wait for them to come through. Don't worry, that's not them. That's just something else. Yeah, Craft World, Grey and Grey Knights. Yeah, sent you some pics. Looking forward to Crusade in 9th edition. Yeah, that should be good. That's kind of what we're looking at for me and Brad are going to do on our channel. Kind of, we were talking about it before 9th edition was announced. We were talking about it just to get some smaller games in, because when I do battle reports, I don't like to do them from longer than really an hour and a half maximum, because I don't know, you just get bored watching the same stuff, and trying to video it, your arms get ached. It's just a pain. So now we've got smaller game sizes and game depths. I think it's going to be good. Can we see the models you are painting? Of course you can. So at the moment, I have got doing some long fang stuff, Colt. So I've got a guy. All I'm doing literally is the same as my videos I've done, and I put it onto the YouTube. Basically, spray them your boys grey, as you call it. Spray them that. Wash them Agrax, and then I'm dry brushing them. And I'm using the army painter Wolf Grey. So basically, we've got the sergeant or the pack leader with a power fist. Yeah, for my long fangs, we've got a long fangs missile launcher We've got 2 las cannons, long fang las cannons to be painted. We have got 2 of the plasma, big boy plasmas. And then I've got a ton of other ones that I'm not touching just yet, because once I get these done, then I'll have at least a unit done. And then I'm painting a unit of sky claws. Okay, so we'll have 10 sky claws painted up by the end of tonight. Fingers crossed. Not for this full video, guys. I'm not going to let you watch the full thing because you'd be bored. But yeah, they all start out like this. This is the boys grey, then with a wash of Agrax earth, and then eventually we get it like that. That's me Iron Priest, and I just need to pick out the details. But yeah, nice and quick. I actually quite like, I did the layer option, so I did actually layer the paint over it before and then pick out the recesses and pick out the highlights, and it was okay. But this looks a lot more grimy, a lot more weather battle worn. So I do prefer this way, so all my stuff's getting painted this way from now on, because I really like it. I even did my couple of my vehicles. I'll show you my the rest of the army that I've got over there. But yeah, going for 9. I'm going to feel. I'll tell you what, I'm going to move this down so you can actually see. There we go. Now it feels like it's going back to the. Do you know what? I didn't see 5th edition. I didn't join. I only did Warhammer when it came to the start of 8th, and I only got into it because Gav told me about the Custodes, and he said obviously this is a limited edition box set. It was where you got a unit of sisters and a unit of custodian guards. You got a Land Raider and you got a Dreadnought. And he said, oh, this was a limited edition box set, blah, blah, blah. And obviously he knows how to sell me the crack because he says limited edition. And I go, oh, okay, I'm interested. Didn't have a clue about them until, and the codex wasn't even out then. And I decided to give it a go. Basically, I thought I'm going to go and have a little look and see what they do. So I had a look and I found out how brutal they are, especially the Judge Dredd bikes. They were just death. They were class and I love them. So yes, I didn't see 5th. So I've only really had experience with 8th edition. I thought 8th edition was a sort of whoever went first, whoever had the best shooting army won. And it was a bit of a pain, to be fair. So yeah, so I kind of left for a bit, but now I'm coming back. I'm getting all my Space Wolves painted, and hopefully it should be a much fun game now. They have similar rules for 5th, where you can spend XP on dudes. Yeah, I'm at work and the signal. Fair enough, Phil. Unfortunately, I don't go back to work till July next month. That's when I can go back into schools to deliver my outdoor ed crap to them. All right. I hope there is some blue tack involved in this vid. We need blue tack porn. Just some blue tack. There you go. I tell you what, just so you can see it, Cole, blue tack right there. All right. Just so you can see your blue tack right there, mate. So what is everyone working on at the minute? I've just finished my suppressors. Yeah, I've seen them suppressors. In fact, I don't know if you guys can see. I'm going to show them. All right, Brad, I'm going to show them the... he's done the same, not the same as me because I don't have any suppressors. However, the suppressors, I don't like them on the stands. I think they just look stupid. But this is Brad. I don't know if you could see. There you go. That's Brad's suppressors he's done. Which I prefer them being on rocks. So they look pretty cool. Okay, so I do like them. So kudos, Brad. Looking good. Warlock Titan. The models, yeah. And we got. Did I just see Underdog painting on here? I did indeed. Hey up, brother, you all right? Hope you're okay. I hope you're getting lots of painting done. I've seen lots of stuff. He's another guy I'm going to get on the channel eventually. When lockdown's done, he's got some orcs that he's been doing some really good. Go and check his channel out called Underdog Painting. He's got some really good orcs that he's done. Some really nice skin tones he's done for them as well. Different skin tones. And we're going to go and have a bit of bit of wolves versus orcs showdown. We'll have that going. What else we got? Suppressors, yeah, under Audi peeps. Dave Duke, you've got triangular orc tattoos on your left arm. Well, they're not orcs. These are it's my strength, and it's my strength tattoo. That's the idea. Triangles are the strongest shape there is, so they're my strength tattoo. Model. Got a question. Do you paint orcs? And if so, do you paint their lips green, or do you use pink, or maybe glaze it with green? I do paint orcs. I do lots of different ways. If I'm painting it, so for D&D, for instance, I just wanted to get them done. So I needed like 20 orcs done. I literally painted 20 orcs in an hour, if that. In fact, do I have the orcs here? Let's have a look. That means boxes upon boxes, not to be river. I think these are the orcs. Yes. So I painted all these orcs in here in an hour. All right. And basically, I sprayed some of them Death Guard green. I sprayed some of them Caliban green. Okay. I don't know if you can see. Yeah. I sprayed them that, let them dry, and then I just picked out the brown, the Xandri dust for the bones, and I just wanted them very quick. So I wasn't bothered about being perfect. Okay, so a couple of them there with some red hair and things. Yeah. And then what I did is I have the army painted dip, and I literally just dip them in, give them a shake, let them set, and that's why they're at it. So I haven't got any spray yet to dull the shine down, but when I do, he'll go down, and that was just perfect for D&D. Just quickly thrown on there. Then I have some special orcs that I do, or that I've done, and the special orcs, I laid them up, started from the darkest green coming up to yellow, and then the lips themselves, I varied. So I used Bugman's Glow with a bit of what's the one I use? The Elysian green. Just a hint, and it kind of warmed the green up a bit for the lips. Okay, that's what I tend to do. I don't like a massive difference between the two, because I just think it looks silly. So that's tend to what I do with that. But if you're blending it, if you're going very subtle highlights as you're coming through and putting different layers on there, glazes will be good. Yeah, making your own glaze up. Use some lime medium and make your own glazes instead of using the glazes that Games Workshop give. Make your own up. It's a lot better, mate. And also, if you wanted to, check out Underdog's painting, because he's actually painting some of his orcs now, and you can see what he does. What else? I'm doing my orc truck bed moon tonight, and it's tough, man. It's tough. Yeah, do you know what? I did a ton of orcs as well. I made some killer. Well, I did some killer cans for a friend, and the big Orc thing, whatever it's called. In fact, I did a video of them. They're on the YouTube channel. Made it all grimy and rusty and bits. It was just a commission paint job I did, and yeah, it was one of the big orc boys that I did, and it looked really nice. I do like putting weathering on things, because it kind of hides any mistakes that you want to do. Can make you paint quicker. I also painted 1,000 Suns for this guy as well, and they were a pain, because 1,000 Suns are very clean, so pure blue and gold. They're just, so you can't really put dust and water on it. It didn't suit my painting for them, so I preferred painting the orcs because they're a lot easier to paint than the 1,000 Suns. Because 1,000 Suns are just a bitch to paint. I've painted orcs with pink in the lips. Yeah, I think I saw your orcs as well, Brad, because you do that for the AOS, and they're quite nice. Pretty shit. They're not actually. It's pretty good, Adam. Magnetize everything future proof. Yeah, do you know what? I quite like magnetizing, when it's done. So like all my my dreadnoughts, me one that converted me Chaplain dreadnought that I'm turning into sort of a dreadnought Uric the Slayer. I've kind of magnetized his arms, and I'm just finishing off, just a couple of painting of the arms as well. So yeah, I do quite like them. 20 orcs in an hour. Yeah, 20. Honestly, right? If you're not bothered about them, if you just want them to be sort of okay tabletop standard, spray them. Pick out the detail, which them orcs, there wasn't much detail on them. Them aura guys, they were literally just pelts, a stick for his, like spears and shields and stuff. Just quickly pick them out, and then dip them, and then and obviously you've got to leave them a good 48 hours because it's the dips are a pain in the backside. But yeah, you could paint 20 orcs in an hour for easy. Crusade will be brilliant. Yeah, it will be. Fabius Baal comes out tomorrow, and I'm still not entirely clear about who that. Yeah, well, that is an awesome looking model, and it looks like a bitch to paint as well. Same as Gazgul. I went halves with with two people actually for the new box set for the obviously Space Wolves and Orcs, and I was debating whether just to keep one of the boxes instead of going halves because of Gazgul, the actual model itself. The model is massive, full of detail. But it also looks like a bitch to paint. Just got the new Orcs box with Space Wolves, so new Gazgul coming up. Yeah, Gazgul, mate. I've just said there, the Gazgul looks class. Massive model. I mean, to be fair, I do think the Space Wolves got shafted in that box set. Absolute shafted for the price you paid. Just for it, it was ridiculous. I got basically a 10-man unit and Ragnar Blackmane. That's it in that book. It was ridiculous in that box set. Bugman's glow with Elysian green for the lips, interesting. Or a green glaze with lamium. Yeah, well, if you make your own green glaze up, and then you can put it over. You can then actually use it on all of your orc to sort of blend the colours in and sort of mix them together. Good. Fabius's Emperor's Children think I don't want to interrupt, but not got any video. I don't want to interrupt, but I not got any video. Have you guys? Is that video stopped working? Is it? It should be still working. It looks like it on mine. Apparently, Fabius's Children, have you tried making the dip from fence? Yes, I have actually. I've used Ronson's fence, whatever it's called, fence stain. That's all it is, and I just used that, and it was all right. It was all right, but you don't need that much dip. I've actually made my own wash as well, so my own non-oil wash. Just put it into the thing there. So I do try and save money as much as I can. Have you tried making the dip? Yeah, ended up in you doing Gazgul in sub-assemblies. I would suggest definitely sub-assemblies. The amount of detail on it, definitely sub-assemblies. Oh, video is fine. Oh, sorry, Dave. Dave Harrison. I'm not sure what's happened with your video, but it seems to be working for the rest of them. Big Style Wolves got shaft. Yeah, Big Style. Just going to paint them up in my own. Yeah, the Wolves did definitely get a big shafting. I was very excited for the box set, and it wasn't the box set I was excited for. It was the new book and the new rules, because everybody else got these litanies and everybody else got these doctrines, and we just didn't. We just got left alone. And I don't believe Space Wolves are tournament compatible yet. Okay. With 9th edition, I don't know yet. We'll have to wait and see about that. But if you're going to go into a big competition, Space Wolves is not what you want to take. But if you're like me and you just love the Space Wolves and you just love the lore, just take them for the fun of it. Just take loads of dreadnoughts. That's all you need to do. Primera Space Wolves are quite plain, really. Yeah, that's what I found. you could probably have a I've just lost the thing. You could probably have a competitive Space Wolves list. You probably can, but it's not a Space Wolves list. Okay, it is basically Primaris with just the Space Wolf name. You don't have your Thunderwolf cavalry in there. You don't have your Wolf and Dreadnought. Yeah. So that's the thing I have. There's not many units that are pure wolves for me. You know, wolf and are a given or a take. I know I always take them all over. I love them. I think they're one of the best units in the game. They're very expensive, but I just love them. I remember taking a set of Wolfen against some. I can't remember who I was playing now. I can't remember. Basically, he had one of these HQs where he had 2 bodyguards, and if he died on a 4-up, he could come back with half his wounds or something anywhere on the table. Now, I didn't know that at the time when I was playing him, and I sent my Wolfen at him, and literally I had 5 Wolfen, all with Frost Claws, and they went in with what did I have? A Wolf Priest with them, and I literally hit with everything, wounded with everything, and I just smashed him. And I went, brilliant, that was great. And then he brought him back literally on the other side of the board, and I couldn't do anything about it, which was a bit of a shock. So yeah, this was me just learning the game at the time. Space Wolves are quite plain, really, not you. Yeah, I've said that, yeah. So, with 9th edition coming out, obviously, within a month, and lockdown seemingly coming to an end, or slowly coming to an end, as it were, how many tournaments you reckon are going to be flying out there? They're going to be trying to get as many people out doing some tournaments as quick as they can, aren't they? There we go, there's another one. Oh, another 3 more to do. Bloody people coming into work wanting booking. What is it you do, Adam? Adam? No, it's not. It's Phil. What are you doing, Phil? What is it you do for a living, for your job? See if he replies. But yeah, so I thought my first time as a live show for me, because I've never done it, and as you can see, I've already had trouble trying to get onto the scheduled stuff that I did. Didn't really work, so I'm gonna have to figure that out. I thought we'll just have a painting session, have a little chit chat, see who's about, talk to you about what the plan is for the channel as well, and what I've got planned. Because hopefully, when lockdown's done as well, I'm currently trying to get my pilot license. I know it's quite scary, people who know me, but I want to get my pilot's license. So I'm going to be looking at doing videos on that. Maybe you don't know whether to start a new channel for that one or stick it on, because it's kind of geeky. You get to play with planes up in the air, start flying about. How cool would that be? So I haven't decided yet. So I've got that to do. Song of Ice and Fire. So I have been contacted by Simon again. Okay. Carol Spain from the demo team over there have asked me to, before lockdown, to go and do the expo again. And I was going to, but obviously this has kicked off, so we couldn't do it. So they're sort of keeping in touch just to do certain things. And yeah, I'm going to try, and I need to get some more knowledge about video and editing. So at the moment, I'm just using my phone. Okay, I did have some GoPros, but I went canoeing, and so my GoPro sort of slipped off my hand and went into the bottom of the river that I was playing on. I dived down and I couldn't find it though, so I've lost my GoPro. I was a bit peeved off with that, but there we go. But I'm going to look at getting another camera. I'm going to try and get a new green screen backlighting thing to make it look a bit better, because in here I've got daylight bulbs in my shed, but when it comes down you can see the actual shine off my head, and that's not good. So yeah. Did you do any learning for that on Microsoft Flight Sim? No, I didn't. What I did was I've told my wife that I really wanted to get my pilot's license. That's one of my sort of goals and my life goals. You know, before you're 40, what do you want to do? And I've always wanted to. When I was a kid, I wanted to be a naval aviator. I watched Top Gun, and I went, "That's what I want to be." You know, I want to be Maverick. But I was too thick to basically just to do some fighter planes. So my wife for this Christmas, this Christmas, she bought me a lesson, basically a pilot lesson. And I went up, I did me flying. The guy when there got my first lesson, so I was flying the plane around, not, you know, actually in control of it, which was pretty cool. I did the landing up till about 100 feet above the ground, and then he took over. But I did the takeoff, I did flying about, so it was pretty good. And I loved it. When I say pretty good, I loved it. And so when I came back down, I said, right, that's it, I'm booking myself on. So I booked myself on to pilot license, PPL, my private pilot license, it's called, through Eden Flight School. All right. And they're based in Tees Valley Airport. So yeah, that's what I did. So I booked onto there, went and got my flight book and got me maps and everything else. So yeah, I'm just waiting for lockdown to go where I can actually then be within the plane, because you're closer than a meter, put it that way. Space was that? You've done that one. I just got Project Elite from Simon. Thought to post. All right. Is that Project Elite? I've not actually looked at that one. What was that we were demoing last year? We were demoing the card game God of War. We were demoing obviously a Song of Ice and Fire. I was mainly on the Song of Ice and Fire stand, and I was demoing that while they were going about. That was good. But yeah, the God of War card game was all right. It was kind of like a you against the deck, so you can have, you know, multiplayer, but it's you guys against the deck. So it's pretty good. I mean, we lost, but it's a pretty good game. Security at an RAF site. You were one of the guards at the front gate, are you? They were on pretty good money, them as well. Luke AP is a good person to ask about editing. Yeah, I've seen he's done a few videos on lighting and sort of his setup, and that's where I sort of kind of had a look and figured out, you know, what can we do. But it's all about budget, it's all about price. I have saw certain lighting stuff that I wanted, but it's all about budget, I'm afraid. And because I'm not at work and I don't get furlough because I'm self-employed, okay, I've only got that sort of one-off payment. Not good. So yeah, I have to try and make my payment other way and try and keep the payments down. I know that feeling. I too Yes, I think it's wearing the beret. I mean, to be fair, I still keep my beret with the Green Howards, not the Yorkshire Regiment, with the Green Howards, what I joined on there. Well, yeah, I've got me little. In fact, there's my wall for you guys to see. In fact, Phil, are you on here somewhere? Oh, you not on there? No, you're not on that one, Phil, I'm afraid. But yeah, so there we go. I actually found someone who's smaller than me, Warwick Davis, I was working with. So yeah. There we go. Oh, while I'm there, you can see me. That's me wolves. So at the moment, I have just painted up my infiltrators and incursors just there. So we're getting on now. We're getting on. Just keep going. Let's put the plug back in. Oh. There we go. That's better. Okay. Today, let's catch back up. Let's see what people are saying. Project Elite is a game like Aliens the movie. It's based closely on a game done by some Greek guy 4 years ago, also named Project Elite, but their minis were bad. All right. Have you played AVP, so Alien vs Predator? I love the Predators. I think are just awesome, and that game was pretty good. And they were moving away from basically it was a board game. And you got the box set, you got 3 Predators, a ton of aliens, and 5 Marines. And you could do the board game, and there was cards for different scenarios and stuff, and it was quite good. But then they were opening it up to a tabletop game as well, so like a little skirmish game, which I downloaded the rules for, because Gav, who knows the guy who's doing it, and he we were going to have a look and have a go of it. But then sort of other things came involved. So we've got like Blood and Plunder, which was his pirate game he was loving. So that came in, and Gangs of Rome, which was another little game that he got. So there was a few games that he sort of had a look through, which was pretty good. I mean, I quite enjoyed the games. I pretty much like every game, to be fair. How easy would a Song of Ice and Fire to be fair, mate, right? The game of Song of Ice and Fire, you could pick it up within 10-15 minutes. It really is simple. In fact, if you're interested as well, there's a guy I know he's trying to sell the starter set where you get 2 armies in it. You get the Lannisters and you get the Starks. He's looking around about 50 quid for it, which is cheap for the 2 armies. And it's pretty good. Watch some of the battle reports. It's easy to play, difficult to master. There's different units. There's different because it's a tactics deck, so you have your cards to play whenever you want. There's tabletop game where you actually fight each other on the tabletop, roll dice, and then there's another part of it which is a tactics board where you can put figures onto a tactics board and something else happens with it. So it's very easy to play, difficult to master. So it's definitely something worthwhile. Honestly, it's one of the best games out there. It's movement trays. You take guys off movement trays, you put guys back on movement trays. The models are beautiful. The models are really nice. You know, I'm a Stark player. That's Stark and Night's Watch. And I love their models. But there's a lot of factions out now. The Greyjoys are coming out soon. The Targaryens, so the ones with the dragons. There are no dragons yet, but the Targaryens are out already. The free folk have bears and eagles and bears, eagles. I think they have something else as well, maybe a wolf or something. But yeah, and obviously Starks have the wolves as well. So there is lots of different stuff out there. It is quite good, and the games last about an hour. Yeah, 40-point games will last you about an hour. Good for your channel as well, Phil. Have a look at them. It'll be good for your channel, your Twitch channel. Look far out those. Yes, I was a soldier. I was same as Phil from the 267 Gaming Studio 267. We were both in the Green Howards together. I actually didn't know he was a gamer. So when I joined the army, I was a gamer. I was doing D&D, and that was the main game I was playing. I didn't do much. We did a sort of World War II game. I can't remember what the rules set were. It was that long ago. And yeah, we never sort of talked. I was just doing a lot of painting when I was in. And then he messaged me was it last week, saying, I didn't realize you were a gaming brother. And then we've just been talking again ever since. So yes, not played AVP, but seen it on shelves. It's really good. The models that I got for the AVP, they were the fine resin. I don't like fine resin. They easily snapped, especially the alien tails. They just snapped all over. It was a pain in the ass. But there were really nice looking models as well. Really nice looking models. You know, so I would definitely, if you're interested in AVP, sort of like aliens and predators, and you can even use them for any other game, technically like D&D and stuff. Yeah, buy it. It's a good, because they are bringing out, or they're supposed to be bringing out a skirmish version of it, so you can actually play like a little tabletop game against people. Seen on shelves. I have a 1987 board game with cardboard counters. All right. Phil, do you remember when we were young and viral going for weekends in Birmingham? Ah, yes. Yes, we went to Max Power, if you remember. We had to VIPs in Max Power. Yes, there was a lot of us. That was when I had my car racing days. I was a boy racer back then. And yeah, there was a guy called Col. He used to have a white Seat Ibiza. And we were based in Chepstow, which is basically under the River Severn Bridge. Well, it's in England. We have to go into Wales to come back into it. It was like a 10-hour drive home on a Friday. It was a pain in the ass. But if you went with this guy called Col, and he was actually smaller than me, he was funny lad, good lad he was as well. He used to fly home 100 mile an hour on the hard shoulder. He was insane. He was crazy. I remember one weekend we were flying home. He went down the hard shoulder, and something was in the hard shoulder, and it went up and it hit underneath his carriage, and it just wrecked his car. And yeah, needless to say, that took us a lot longer to get home because we had to wait for the call out and everything else. So, oh yes, I remember them days. What else? I've literally just attempted non-metallic metal on Space Marine swords. All right. I've seen a few. I've tried a non-metallic metal, not with an airbrush because my airbrush broke, and I've still got the compressor, just not got an airbrush. And I tried it with. I watched a tutorial and I thought I'm going to give it a go. And basically, you did top right one color and the top left the same color of the sword, kind of like that, and then you switched it, and then you kind of blended them in together to the middle. And it was all right, but again, I don't tend to paint that often anyway. Competition winning models. I want very nice looking models to better than tabletop standard. I mean, Col and Adam and all that. You see my figures, and you know they do come better than tabletop standard just because the extra bit I put into it. But I want them quick because it's all right spending months and months and months painting one figure when you can spend month and month and month painting a full army. I mean, I've probably in lockdown I have painted. In fact, I think I've painted all them Space Wolves. The only thing that I didn't paint in lockdown because I painted it beforehand was my Venerable Dreadnought with the axe and shield. Everything else was painted in lockdown. So that is well over, what's that, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, probably about 100 models in lockdown to a good standard, as well as converting. Because I did convert my Lucas to Trickster, which I am very proud of that one because I do like that. So I'd rather paint quick. So the metallic stuff now, I've decided I've got this Vallejo model color. So I've got like gunmetal blue, brass, gold, red color, just to try different colors to give it a bit more, a little bit more detail, shall we say. And I've actually found out if you use the gunmetal blue with some of the red and you mix it together with the blood for the blood gods, and you mix it together sort of on the actual gun, then you get like what's that, like the heat effect from firing the gun too much. I quite like that. I better pull my finger out and get those orcs done. Yes, you better do. Yes, you better do, mate. That was Underdog Painting. Yes, because lockdown. We've been knocked down now to level 3 or something. So hopefully soon we can get into gaming mode and start gaming. That'll be good. Get you around. Also, when that's done, hopefully we were doing a Blood Bowl league. We do a lot of Blood Bowl league in our gaming club, and we need to get the semi-finals done. There's 4 of us now in our semi-finals, obviously, and my dwarfs are ready to go in for the semi-finals, ready to kick some Z in. Can't wait to play that. Colin. So, Dave Doogie. Colin Bullock. Even GW Leadbelcher via spray can work well with people. Acrylic, non-metal colour. Vallejo metal colour is the daddy. So, for small people. Yeah, like I say, I do the Vallejo metals. I've got a lot of different ones for that. Phil. Phil Harrison, I've heard AVP was a cursed game, and each company that have taken on AVP have lost. Yes, it has. Yes, it has lost a lot of money. I'm not sure why. I've not really. I don't really speak to the people behind it, but I have heard that as well. And Gav, the guy at Gaming Figures, he has said that to us as well. But the models look gorgeous. The models look really nice. The game, the tabletop version of it, when I was reading through the skirmish version, it seemed okay. Basically, it's kind of like it was kind of like Kill Team or Warcry. It was kind of like that. So it had promise, but yeah, it's one of them things. Colin Bullock, can you do a tutorial on skin tones like the one on your dwarfs, as I never decent skin tone to look right, even the contrast? Yes. In fact, what I'll do is I'll have a little chat with you. I'll get some stuff out. So there was a few. I had trouble painting skin tones before. Right, boxes upon boxes. Right, when I was younger, when I first started out painting, and I was painting D&D models, okay, for obviously my game that I was playing in at the time, sort of my characters and stuff, I didn't really understand about it. I just thought one colour, then put another colour, leaving a line around the recesses there, and it was okay. So things like that. There you go. All right. So that is a dark colour, then with a light colour over it, and you can see the thing there. So that was one of my first. That's not one of my first. Sorry, that's how it came. But it was something like that. That's what I was doing. Okay. There we go. Like that. So these are my giants. All right. Then I sort of moved on. I moved on, and I moved away from GW paints for skin tones. Okay. And I got these from Foundry, okay? And it was the Foundry paint system, okay? And the paint system, you can buy different skin tones, okay? You can get a dark skin tone, you can get a light skin tone, an olive skin tone, whatever you need it to. But basically, you come and you get 3 paints, okay? You get an A, which I kind of ran out now, okay? A B, and a C. Does exactly what it says on tin. You start with the A, and you paint it all over your miniature. Then you move straight away onto B. And that's what it says you do. But the advice that I would give you, if you do get this, is put B and A mixed together, blend it up, and then just follow the same contours, okay? But slowly getting higher and higher, okay? That's how I then move my skin tone better, by using this and going further up. Okay. Then I found, and I did have my airbrush. Doing skin on airbrush is so much easier on bigger models, and I would suggest using your airbrush for doing skin tones, because I did on this geezer here. Now you can't really see, but when I do it, what I'll do is I'll take a picture, and if you go onto my Facebook page, Geeks of the Realm, I'll put a picture on, then you can see. And basically all you do, spray it one color. So spray it, I use Bugman's Grow and thinned it down, and then I use Cadian Flesh Tone from the top, and I'm starting to come down just like this as I was coming down, and it naturally picks up the highlights, and underneath you have that effect where it blends it in automatically, okay? And then you come further up and you move on to Kislev Flesh, and then you just pick out little bits at the top. But the blending of the skin tones was much better. So if you've got like something big like giants, these, okay, do that. If you've got an airbrush. If not, I am moving on to my ogres, which I need to paint for the guys, D&D, because we're going to be fighting some ogres. Okay. And we're basically painting now. I'm trying different ways of washing skin colors and I'm trying doing painting them with layers up. So what I'll do, Cole, for you, just because you're nice and you've asked me, can I do it? Yes, I will do a video on how I do different skin tones. Okay, different versions of skin tones. I'll use washes for one time, and then I'll use layer system, and then I'll use inks as well if I can get a hand on some of the inks. Yeah, definitely. What else have we got? Let's have a look. AVP seems a lot like it kind of, yeah, it kind of was like a bit like Space Hulk. Cole, so Cole's just said that AVP seems a lot like Space Hulk. It kind of does, and it kind of was, but you moved quicker through it. There was a lot more obvious. What's the word I'm looking for? Cheese armies in it. So Predators were just unbelievable. They were like, you had to get, they had so many wounds each, and you had to be able to basically, it's a D20 system. So you had to roll and you had to get over a certain number or under a certain number. Obviously there was stuff, there were cards that were playing. So maybe, you know, like you were entering an asteroid field and one of the airlocks blew open or something, and anybody in that square got hurt and things. So, you know, it was quite good at the time, you know, when I was playing it. But it was, for me, it was the models. I actually preferred looking at the models and painting the models. Okay, that's my whole thing with it. I love Alienverse, but I mean, if you can see, I've got all the aliens and all the predators and all the Alienverse predators down there, Prometheus and all sorts. I do like that. One of my favorite films, Predator. Phil Harrison, I just want to play somebody who isn't my brother. We do have 4 races each, but are almost out of. Right, fair enough. No, you do. Also, what I found, because I mean, I don't have anyone to play. My wife can't stand gaming. My daughter will just play Labyrinth with me, which, again, was one of my favorite movies as a kid, and the models are great. It is based on the film. I have played it with Brad and his son and Amelie at the same time. We've done a video that's on YouTube. So it's a very simple game to play, very nice sort of family game to play. These expansions for it, which I've got, sort of like the Fireys and the other goblins and things. But I know what you mean. You want to play a proper game with other people. I have got, so Magic the Gathering is another big thing coming around at the moment. It really wasn't around our gaming club for a long time. And I played Magic the Gathering many years ago. I mean, I've got some cards there that are about 15-year-old. You know, some of them are quite expensive as well. One of them that's like an artifact that gives you mana, colorless mana, which is fantastic. So I played ages ago, and it's now to start coming around. And what I was thinking is getting on, obviously, onto Skype or Zoom or whatever, and actually playing a card game with somebody, just so I can play a game instead of, because I run D&D over Skype, and that seems to work well. But I thought, play a bit of a card game where you can see the cards in front of me and I can play you and stuff like that. So that's what you should be doing, Phil. Play some games. I mean, I know you can play TTS, but for me, I'm not a big computer gamer. That doesn't do it for me. I'll end up, if I took up World of Warcraft, I'll be on there for hours and hours, and I'll lose a wife, I'll lose my kids, I'll lose my job, I'll just be stuck on there. Yeah. 3D printed dwarven mug with a can of Diet Coke inside. Oh, refreshing. Right. Well, we're getting close to having all my stuff ready just to start putting details in. Oh, dearie me. There are lots of good solo play games out there. Yeah, it's one, having the money to buy them. I did play, my son had this game. It's a card game. It's like an escape room. I can't remember what it's called now. But basically it's an escape room, and you have cards, and you lay some cards out, and you've got to sort of solve the mystery, and it'll tell you what card to do if you solve the mystery and stuff. It's pretty good. I enjoyed that one. That was pretty good. What other solo games are out there? Right. I will leave them 3 now. And I'm going to put some black on there. Right. I'm going to say this, and I'll probably get shot for saying it, but contrast paints. I'm not a massive fan of them, or not a fan of all of them. However, there are a few contrast paints that I rate a lot. Now, for you guys who have been painting for ages, you will know, or you'll have heard of, where is it? It's not on here. There you are. The old GW Snakebite Leather. Okay, I used to love that as a normal paint. Snakebite Leather and washed it and bringing it up, it was fantastic. So it's very similar. But my favourite contrast paint is the Black Templar Black. I use that a lot because you get your highlights already, and it makes I use them all on my guns. The guns that I do, I just paint the whole thing with this colour. I think it's really good. In fact, I probably need to get some more from Gabs. But yeah, it's one of the best contrast paints out there because I painted all on it. And then if I wanted to, I can start picking out the black extras with other blacks. It's one of them things, if you want quick guns, paint it with contrast paint. All right. Yeah, I refuse to play WoW for the same. Yes. If I played WoW, that'd be it. I mean, I've got an Xbox in here, and I've got Morrowind and Oblivion and Skyrim here. I haven't played it yet because if I play that, I won't be painting. So I need to finish painting before I play that. So all I'm doing now is I'm painting me long fangs. Okay, I want to get a unit of 5 of long fangs painted. So I'm just painting all the backpacks and all the guns with this Black Templar, straight over the same color as the blue. Ooh. Okay, it's very quick and simple doing this. And then once I've done this, I've actually got two things to make up. I've got my Land Raider to make up, and I've got me Impulsor, Ragnar Blackmane's chariot, basically. Now that's a nice little Impulsor with a 4+ invulnerable save. That's pretty good. Just haven't made it yet. I have trouble finding time and enthusiasm to paint as often as I'd like. I have a pile of shame what that needs. Yes, well, me and the wife have had that many arguments over painting. Now, when I was doing commission paint for lots of people, when I had lots of commission to do, so I did some Star Wars Legion for Gav. I've done, say, I did the Imperial Guard. I did the Thousand Sons. I've done Blood Bowl teams. I've got Napoleonics to paint. I've had loads of Napoleonics to paint. So it's one of them things that it does tend to take the fun out of painting when you've got that much commission paint to do. You're just painting just because, really. You're not painting just for the fun for yourself. So what I've done is I've painted lots and lots of Napoleonics. I've painted all of Gav's stuff up. Painted all of the Thousand Sons that needed to be painted. Basically, my commission lot has dropped down now just to one guy who basically I'm going to be painting for the rest of my life. I think the amount of stuff he's got of Napoleonic stuff. And to be fair, I'm not a massive fan of Napoleonics. I'll paint anything. Okay, as you know, I'm not a massive fan of Napoleonics though, because you have to get it full on right, and some pictures look different to others, and it's just a pain. But we get it done. So what I've said to myself is, now I've only got one person to paint for at the moment, and it's just Napoleonics. I need to take a break, and I need to paint my Space Wolves to get myself back in the game, get myself back to fun. Okay, and what I mean by fun, I mean fast, quick, very good tabletop standard. And if I make a mess, then I'll just go back and do it again. Where if I do it for somebody else's, that's not good. So I needed this time to paint for myself. Hence me giving myself till the drop of ninth edition to get all of my Space Wolves painted. Because then when 9th drops and I get the new box set, I'll have lots more stuff to paint. And I also want a lot more Space Wolves. I said in the other videos, I want about 10 to 20,000 points worth. Just because I just do. I want one of everything, at least. So I'm just working away, getting through, converting stuff, waiting to get some more money in so I can go and buy some more stuff. Deal with me plastic crack addiction. I do most of my painting while I'm on shift. Don't get much time at home with the kids. Yep, if I had a job where I was in an office, you know, I mean, working on the as a guard, that's, you know, perfect. You're basically your own boss. It's great. If I had one of them jobs, I would. One of my friends, he works on the docks down at Tees Docks, or whatever it is, down over there anyway. And he's the watchkeeper there, so he's kind of does 12-hour shifts, and he takes his paints to work and gets it all finished. But he doesn't play any other games. He just plays D&D, so he just paints and paints and paints for his game. So there we go. So I'd be loving if I could do that. I've got a full Dread Fleet set I'd like to commission you for. Oh yeah, I've not seen any of this Dead Fleet stuff. Is this the ones with loads of ships? If it's the one I'm thinking of, isn't that the one that's already pre-painted, Col? I've never used contrasts. Contrasts, I never did. Okay, I was always of the mindset of going, do you know what, don't use contrast because it's a cheap way. And I remember when I was first getting into painting, there was a friend who used to paint, and he never used washes, never. And he said, he said, you don't use washes. Washes, you cheat when you do washes. And I was like, okay, then. So I never used washes for years. I used to just paint, you know, just put layers on it. And then when I needed the recess, I'd paint with a darker color on there and stuff. And it took a long time. And then I kind of went, do you know what? I'm going to take the plunge. I'm going to do some washing. And when I did the washing, I found out actually you get a much better paint job if you did a wash, and quicker, but if you used it as part of your proper paint technique instead of just using the wash and leaving it. That's it. Which is exactly what I found with contrast paint. Okay, if I just painted it one color with contrast paint, I'd go, right, there you go, leave it. I wouldn't feel like I've painted. Okay, it's very quick and it's not the right thing. However, when I paint with contrast paint like this, and then I go over it with another color and I highlight it with some other stuff, or I put a dry brush on it of some sort, actually it's good because it's another tool that helps you paint. If you use it in addition to stuff, I think that works better. All right. I mean, I have painted one figure full on contrast paint just because I needed it done for the tournament I was going to the next day. And I thought I just couldn't be asked painting. You know, I painted for ages and I thought, I can't be asked. So I quickly got some contrast paints out. I give it one coat. It took me about half an hour to paint one figure, if that. Left it next day, picked it up, sprayed it with some varnish, and then off I went. So I will admit of doing that, but I prefer doing it the way I'm doing it here. Let's have a look. My wife has put me on a buy ban until all my stuff's painted. Yeah, if I did that with the missus, then I wouldn't be buying anything for the next 50 years. I have got the full Mythic Pantheon battle set to paint. Underneath there is hundreds of figures to paint all under there. I have got my Lord of the Rings dwarfs armies to paint. Where I've got the Erebor dwarfs, I've got the Moria dwarfs to paint. I've got some of the Iron Hill dwarfs to paint. So I've got all that to paint. I've got my D&D stuff to paint, and I always get extra stuff. I've got loads and loads and loads of scenery to paint. So if I was going to do that, I wouldn't buy anything next, and I couldn't do that. I have to have my plastic crack. So Phil, get it told. Get it told you can't. It would be good to get some sort of painting club up and running. Do you know what, Cole? I spoke to Gav, and I mean, I am not a professional painter. Okay, I do good paint jobs to a very good tabletop standard. There's a lot better painters out there. I mean, I am quick at painting to a very good standard. I will say that that's one of the things I am. I can paint very quickly. But what I said to Gav was, if you wanted to, I would come into the store, you know, on one day or something like that. And if you wanted to do it as an event where people can come and ask questions or come and learn to paint, I could be there and give them a few techniques and a few tips that I do. And like I say, it wasn't at the time, he was in the smaller shop, but I might ask him again if he fancied it. But yeah, definitely some sort of painting club. That might be a way forward to try and get more people painting. Could be a good shout. It would be, yeah. Dread Fleet is a Warhammer Fantasy ships. No, they are grey plastic at the moment. It's got a lot of flack as a game, but me and Joe play. Is that the game where it's actually the spaceships? You have a starter set and you have the Orcs versus Imperial Guard, I think it is. Is that the game you're talking about? What else have you got? I used to play with Cole. Cole will tell you all that. I used to play X-Wing. And we used to play at a different game shop, and I was very into X-Wing. I went down to nationals and Europeans and stuff. In fact, I became a European qualifier for the game. And when I went down to nationals, I was 42nd out of 300. There was about 300. I was 42nd in the country, which I was quite happy with. And it was a really good game, and the models come all pre-painted. It was fantastic. And that's kind of like a fleet game for it. But then obviously it kind of took a dive when it moved over to second edition, because basically in X-Wing you had to buy 7 ships, 7 sort of expansions just to get a good build out for your ship that you wanted, because it's down to the ship and the cards that you got. And the cards were in other ships that you had to buy. And I remember one card was in a ship that cost 80 quid or 90 quid, right? The Tantive, and it was C3PO. I remember I had to pay just for one little card 20 quid just for one card, because I refused to buy the Tantive, because the Tantive was a big ship and you could only play it in a big game instead of the little 100-point games we were playing. So I refused to buy that, and it was just ridiculous. But yeah, I used to quite like X-Wing with it. That was pre-painted games. I'm trying to commission my full-time. Do you know, with the commission as a full-time job, it would be a good job if you enjoy painting. But one of the things I have found is eventually, if you can't be arsed painting, unfortunately, it's your job. You've got to do it. And sometimes sat on your backside like this for hours and hours, I don't know. I don't think I could do commission as a full-time job. I would, if somebody said, "Oh, can you do me an army?" I'd paint an army, but I wouldn't go down as a full-time job. I'd just go, right, okay. Like I did with, like I say, I've painted a Death Guard army, a Imperial Guard army. I've painted a Thousand Suns army. So yeah, I've painted them 3 as commission paint jobs for other people. I mean, I've done Star Wars Legion and stuff. And obviously I'm painting my Space Wolves for the army, but because I'm not a commission painter, when I'm doing it, I was like massively undercutting. I used to charge like £4 a figure. Okay, just a simple figure, like a simple marine, £4 to paint it. Very, very cheap. Okay. And when I thought, do you know what? I don't know how much people charge for it, because I wasn't a commission painter. So what I did is I messaged Siege Studios, and I went to them, right, how much would you charge me to paint a figure? And I sent them an email saying, right, how much would you charge? And what it was is I wanted to see how much it would be to get 10 Wolfen painted. That was it, just 10 Wolfen. They're already made up. I've made the Wolfen up myself, Okay, so they're already done. You don't need to base them because I'd base them. All I've just wanted is literally a paint job. Now, they do different standards. There's platinum, gold, and silver, and bronze and stuff, right? I said, just a silver standard. Yeah, when I looked, their silver standard is pretty much my standard here. Okay, my better than tabletop standard. So I looked and I went, right, so silver top will do me. Okay. When I got a message back, I almost fainted. They going to charge me to do 10 wolfen, £400, £40 per wolfen. Okay, I nearly fell back. I went, wow. Now, and it's well worth it. Don't get me wrong, it is well worth it, right? Because the amount of hours I spend painting other people's, armies and stuff, I'm not even making that much money per hour. Okay, it's kind of not worth it. It's just, I'd rather see painted armies on the field. But if it's a job, that's fine. But I just couldn't believe it. £40 per model of Wolfen. I was shocked. So I just couldn't. I don't know if I could get away with it myself. I've tried a full model with contrast. It was a Necromunda model and looked great, but contrast seems to give a washed out look to model. Some washes, some contrast paints will give it washed out, and I think some models take the contrast paints better. So Phil, if you're thinking about getting into A Song of Ice and Fire and you want in a, I don't know, let's say a Free Folk army. The Free Folk armies are a lot of basically barbarians who live north. They don't have much armor on and stuff. And it's kind of like a horde. It's kind of like a horde army. If you were going for that, contrast paints are the way forward. They have that many figures. Contrast paints will do them very well. I've painted some Necromunda gang for Gav. In fact, 2. I think the Goliaths. They were the ones who were in red. And I did the ones that were in yellow with a woman with a whip and stuff, so I painted them. And the contrast paints weren't out, but I don't think I would have used contrast paints for them because the amount of detail on them is really nice. I'd rather have took a big job on it. And if any of you, obviously I know Colin, you guys go into Gavs, but if you haven't been into gaming figures yet, pop into gaming figures when it opens up properly for people to go and have a browse, and you'll see some of my work. All of his Star Wars Legion he has in these glass cabinet were all painted by me. Okay, his ATST and stuff like that, and he's even got his Necromunda gang on show as well that I painted. So go and have a look, see what you think. Hope you can get your Space Wolves up to the size. Ooh, can't see. There we go. Up to that size. Sent you my pics of my Ultramarines forthcoming, have you? So have a look then. This is what all the tinging was about. Oh yeah, I can also see some of your 300 Spartans. Very nice. And did you make them cloaks yourself as well, Phil? They look like some of the cloaks that you've made yourself. Not bad though. That's a lot of Ultramarines. That is a lot of Ultramarines. Well, I'm getting there. I am getting there, Phil. I have got 2 units of 10 Blood Claws. I have got 2 units of 6 Grey Hunters. I've got a unit of 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, unit of 10 Terminators, 10 Incursors, 10 Infiltrators, 10 Hellblasters, 10 Intercessors, 6 Thunderwolf Cavalry. I have got Bjorn, Murderfang, 2 Venerable Dreadnoughts, a Redemptor Dreadnought, a Tactical Warsuit. I've got a Chaplain Dreadnought. I've got a Repulsor Executioner, a Rhino, a Stormwolf Flyer, and then I've got all the HQ, all the named characters except Harold Deathwolf and Canis Wolfborn, and a proper Lucas the Trickster. I don't have him. I've converted my Lucas the Trickster, and to be fair, I like that one better. My one better than Games Workshop's. So I've still got I have got a Land Raider to make, and I've still got an impulsor to make. I've got 15 wolfen to paint, as well as long fangs and skyclaws. So hopefully I'm getting to that level. Was thinking like a monthly meetup where people can share techniques. Yeah, that would be good. That might be good. A monthly meetup. And it could be a monthly meetup where we say, right, you need to paint one model and you're going to paint it in this technique. Forget your technique that you use, so your layering system, paint it this way, try it this way, and it'll just be a crappy figure, but you're going to try it and you're going to see if you can make... I quite like that, Col. That should be good. I'll see what I can do. I might even put it on the channel. A monthly meetup, a monthly painting schedule, like something like this, where we can sort of talk and you can send pictures in and I can put pictures through. I mean, if I can learn how to use this properly and be able to put pictures on here while you guys are here and stuff, you know, if there's a way of doing it, then yeah, that could be a good thing. I like the idea there, Col. No, it's Warhammer Fantasy. They are all races and ships. Oh, okay. Never played it, so you'll have to look at it, show us some stuff. And I love, one of my things, the old Warhammer Fantasy, the old dwarfs. They were awesome. I want to get as a new faction for me. Anybody who knows me knows my race. Everything I do is dwarf. I've got dwarven cup. I've got dwarf for Lord of the Rings. I've got my dwarf is my Blood Bowl team's dwarf. My D&D characters are dwarfs. I just love dwarfs. So if I can get hold of the old fantasy miniatures, you know, with the troll slayers on there and, you know, dragon slayer, it would just be great. Yeah, I can't wait to get hold of them. What she doesn't know, my new Lord Hector Rex model turned up. Keep it quiet. Just say you ordered it ages ago and it just took, with the coronavirus, it just took ages to get to you. Have you played Pathfinder 2nd edition? If so, how does it compare to... I haven't. The different sort of role-playing games I've played is I've done a little bit of Hunter. I've done 3rd edition D&D. I've done... the main edition that I do is 2nd edition D&D, AD&D. I've played 5th edition. In fact, I still play 5th edition on a Monday with Fizz. He's the DM for it. We're doing Curse of Strahd at the moment, which is interesting. I've played Star Wars, basically Star Wars role-playing. It's basically 3rd edition D&D, but in the Star Wars universe, and that's pretty good. And I've got Stargate. Now, the guys who play D&D and they've been on my house, they know I'm a massive Stargate fan. I've got the models for Stargate. I've got Stargate, the DVDs down there, the box set, and I love Stargate. So I got the role-playing game. I've read it, never played it yet. So one of the things I haven't played is Pathfinder. But Pathfinder, from what I've read and what I sort of know about it, is kind of like 3rd edition. Well, it was 3rd edition D&D. And then it moved up to 5th edition, but I believe. But no, I've not played it. I'm afraid not played Pathfinder. You know, I'm kind of loyal to D&D. I started it when I was 16. Was I 16? So I've done it now for 16, 17, 18 years now. I've been role playing. I mean, I'm 36. 32. Yeah, 18. You know, maths. 18 years I've been doing role-playing games. I've only been playing tabletop games, though, for about... If you take out X-Wing, because X-Wing was the first real tabletop game I played, I've been playing tabletop games for about 5 years now. And, yeah, I can just say it hasn't changed. Still love it. Still love the plastic clack. Do you use paint, retarder, or medium, or do you just use water to thin down? I do have... So the flow improver I have is the Galleria acrylic mediums, the Windsor and Newton. Okay, I do have that. That is my flow improver. I don't use it when I'm doing stuff like this. When I'm doing characters or main characters and I'm using my wet palette, that's when I'll use it. And the reason why I don't use it here, it's time. Okay. Now, to be fair, this is actually very slow for me painting. Obviously, I'm talking to you guys and I'm sort of concentrating on talking to you and answering questions and stuff. But what I've done in the, how long we've been going? An hour and 25 minutes. And I've basically just dry brushed 15 models, and I've just put black on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is the 6th guy I've put black on. And that's very, very slow for me. So it's one of the things for speed. I just use water because it's there, straight in, done. If I'm doing commission paint jobs and I'm doing it for other people, I use it then because I rather do them a better job than mine, basically. And sort of some paints when I've mixed together, I need to keep that same mixture. And sometimes I'll forget the mixture, and I want that color to be there for a while I'm painting it. So I'll use the flow improver for that, just to keep it wet. But water's just good enough. The only difference with water and flow improver, like Lamy medium or the gallery acrylic medium here, is basically the medium is paint without pigment and water isn't. So water tends to break the paint down a little bit, not much, just a bit, where medium doesn't. Okay, that's what I have found. So sometimes you'll get a cleaner brush stroke when you use mediums, mate. All right, that's how I've found it anyway. Yeah, sieges are crazy. I had a woman come to me asking to paint Lord of Change. I said I'd do it for 300. Siege, we're going to charge you 2. Bloody hell. I painted Magnus. Okay, Magnus the Red for a friend. And again, I'd say I massively undercharge. Massively. But I mean, this guy, he got me to paint loads of armies for him. Okay. A load of models, and I literally just painted like a Chinese sweatshop. I charged him 70 quid for me to paint Magnus. Okay. And it took me a while to paint Magnus. And to be fair, I should have charged him, at least 100 and something. But because he was a mate, I charged him 70 quid to paint Magnus. And I've painted Mortarion for Gav, but he sold his Death Guard now. But yeah, I painted a Mortarium as well. So yeah, like I say, painting things is just ridiculous. I just couldn't, unless I was going to do it as a full-time job. Like I said, I couldn't. I'm wanting to get my pilot license, so I'm wanting to go as a corporate pilot. That's where I'm wanting to go, and I do outdoor ed now, so I've just finished my foundation degree in outdoor leadership. So I've got 1 year left to get my full degree in outdoor adventurous education is the degree I'm going to get. I've got 1 more year left to do. I've got my foundation degree with it. I've obviously got my tickets to go and do canoeing and the outdoors, walking and climbing and shebangs and axe throwing and stuff. But I think my career is going to become down as a pilot. So this is kind of going to be a hobby, and I will paint for people. I will do commission painting for other people. But I will be more safe and say, look, this is the standard you're going to get. If you want a proper competition one, you will be paying more because I'll have to spend weeks and months on it. So yeah, that's the key for that one. But good luck, Underdog Painting. I've seen some of your work. Your work is really nice. I've seen a lot of all your videos, and your videos are very nice and a lot of good paint jobs you've been doing out there. And you're a sound bloke. I talked to you in Gavs before, and like I say, I can't wait to get you actually on the channel, and vice versa. And so yeah, if any of you want to commission stuff, Underdog Painting, he's starting. He wants to do that as a full-time job. So have a chat with him. What else we got here? Let's have a look. The wife's sewing skills may have been procured. Okay. Your sewing, fair enough. A couple of weeks ago, I won Prophecy of the Wolf on the raffle. We were talking about, yes. Oh, yes. I only kept the Incursus, broke the rest up and sold it. I know at the time would send you Ragnar. Well, I bought 2 of the Wolf Prophecies of the Wolf. And I got Ragnar. I'll just get him now. So I did have Ragnar, and he is painted. Okay. So I got Ragnar. But the other Ragnar, I converted into a rune priest or a wolf priest, whichever one I want to use him as. So, to be fair, I mean, it would have been nice to get another one, and I would have converted it again to make something else. You know, conversions is what I'm looking at now, trying to make it more wolfy. But yeah, cheers, Phil. Is that because you're so short? Is what because I'm so short? Because I love dwarfs. Yes, it is probably. As my friends say, I look up to dwarfs. And Gav at the gaming figures. If you walk into his shop, behind his door, he's got. He thinks he's clever. He's got a coat rack quite high for normal people to put the coats on. And then what he's done is he's give me and this other guy who's actually smaller than me I've got a little lump on my head. I don't know if you can see that little lump there. So I'm actually taller than him just by that lump, right? So he's smaller. So Gav's put down below 2 special coat hangers for me and him. And he thinks he's funny. And he likes to say, I look up to dwarfs. So, which is probably true. I love the Warhammer Fantasy roleplay. The wife was an elf fire mage who got an insanity that made her paramount. Okay. Well, she likes fire. Okay, your missus, I do know your missus loves fire. She's all that fire eating stuff. Colin, I've got the 40k Deathwatch roleplay if you ever want to borrow it. I'm not going to say no. I did look at the Blackstone Fortress, which it's kind of a step into role playing. If you haven't done role playing before, if you do like Blackstone Fortress, you get a guy and you get XPs and you go all the way up. It's the same as they used to have Imperial Assault. FFG did a game called Imperial Assault, Star Wars Imperial Assault, and it was the same. You had a guy, you were that person, you have friends around you, they could be another person, and you play the mission that was in the book. And if you pass the mission, you moved on and you get XP and you move up and stuff. So it's kind of a way of getting in. There's I've got the Dungeon Saga as well. That's kind of like that as well. So if there's a lot of games out there that are a step into role playing. Like I say, that Dungeon Saga is one of them. Imperial Assault, Blackstone Fortress was another one. So yeah, that's kind of if you're going to look at doing role playing, that's probably the way to go, guys. Deathwatch uses a D100 system. Percentile dice. Yes, I've got lots and lots and lots of percentile dice. I've got lots and lots and lots and lots of dice. These ones, I've got some dwarf dice in there, some elf dice in other places. So yes, got quite a lot. So, well, I'm going to give you this, guys. I'm going to stop painting. I'm going to have you tried 40k Apocalypse. No, I haven't. I have not tried 40k Apocalypse because the amount of games I've got, it's just trying to find time to do them all, get people around to show me, and stuff like that. So I haven't, I'm afraid. Right, gonna go, mate. Enjoy the stream. Keep smashing it. Cheers, Sundog. You take care. Again, for anybody who's watching, go and log into and sign up to and subscribe actually to Underdog Painting's YouTube channel. He is a good bloke, down to earth. He's a local lad and he does some really good paint tutorials. So go and see him. What I'm going to do, guys, is because we've been on now for about an hour and a half and I've only done a few figures, which is really winding me up, to be fair. Okay. What I'm going to do next time is just going to pick one figure to paint. And I'm going to talk to you while I'm painting one figure instead of trying to paint the full lot. Okay. And that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to give you 5 minutes. If you want to ask me any questions or if you want to say anything, in the live chat, let me know and I'll do some talking, answering your questions and stuff. And then from there, we'll sort of leave it, guys. So you've got 5 minutes. Off you go. Right. Still needs to dry. Any tips on painting yellow? Yes, painting yellow. I have done obviously loads of shoulder pads and stuff. Paint yellow. Obviously, Avalanche Sunset is my go-to base color yellow. But before I actually do the yellow, I always paint a brown. Okay. Now I either use Mornfang brown or XV88. Okay, as my base color, because yellow is very thin color. You can, there's not much pigment in it basically. So when you have to put a lot of coats on. So to stop that straight away, paint it brown. Paint whatever you want, a light brown. So I do say Mornfang brown or XV88. Paint whatever you want yellow, that color. Let it dry. Once it's dry, use Avalanche Sunset, but make sure you water it down. Okay. And a good thing, because it's a light, very light color, water it down with your flow improver, your Lamian medium, or some sort of medium, because the pigments won't break then with the yellow. So when you've watered it down with that, do light coats over it, and you might have to do 2 or 3 coats, but that's the best way to get your yellow. Once you've got your yellow up, then if you want to shade your yellow, shade it with Agrax Earth. And I always thin my Agrax Earth down when I'm shading the yellow on big things, because you don't want it too deep. You want to bring it up. So to start with, very simple, XV88 or a light brown base coat. Then base coat over your yellow that you want, which I use Avalanche Sunset. That is thinned down with medium. Do 3, usually about 3 coats. But do 1 coat, let it fully dry. When it's fully dry, do another coat, let it fully dry, then do another coat, let it fully dry, and you'll get really bright yellow. Once you've done that, then you can give it a shade of Agrax Earth. Now with the yellow, I wouldn't try to wash it all over it unless you want the full thing dirty. I would just pick the recess shade wherever you want it in, and then I'd highlight it with a bit more sort of Uriel yellow added to the Avalanche Sunset. Okay, Cole, I hope that helps you. But that's a good way of doing browns. Any more questions? What have we got? Tips. Will you do a basing video too, please? Yeah, I can do. I've already done a basing video on my I can't remember what they're called now. They're basically fish elves for Age of Sigmar. I did the basing one where it was like the beach and the sea coming together with a bit of the waves coming, using some filler. So have a look at that one. But if there's any specific bases you want to look at, I did do for my my Volkite Berserkers for my Fire Slayer army. I did a lava base, which was putting sort of rocks down and then putting lava through them and stuff, so I could do something on that. But if you've got a specific base you want, let me know and I'll have a practice with it, and I'll do some. Why doesn't anything rhyme with purple? Nurple, Gerple, Flurple. Making up words now. That's what we do. We'll put it in the dictionary. Well, getting through them quite a lot. I mean, my basins at the moment, Cole, I am literally just using some of this stuff. Vallejo ground texture paste, grey sand. That's all I'm using. I've got the dark mud and the light mud one, and just for speed, I'm just whacking that straight on. I'm not doing anything special with them, to be fair. What uses of a wet palette? I've actually done a video on that one about use of a wet palette. But basically, a wet palette is very good for me anyway. Is very good for keeps your paints wet. Okay, so if you've done a lot of, like, I tend to use these, and when I put the paint in, it dries quite quickly. But if you put the paints in a wet palette and you've got it done correctly, your paint will stay moist, which is great. Okay. When you're painting, you don't want a dry brush and you don't want dry paint unless you're doing dry brushing. But you don't want a dry brush. You always want your paint brushes, your the tips of it wet. Okay. So one, it keeps your paints wet. Next one, if you are looking to blend, okay, so I do when I do bigger models like Mortarian, and when I did Magnus, when I blended, I use the wet palette for that one, because you can mix your colors perfectly and it'll stay wet, and you can add more to it, as it were. And say I make my own wet palette. I don't buy it. I make my own, which, as I said, I did a video for that one, so check it out. But yeah, it helps. For me, it helps me more with the blending of mixing my colors and keeping the color that I want, keeping it moist. Okay, blending is where I have issues. That's why I'm trying the airbrush. Blending with airbrush is difficult. There's two ways of blending. There's wet blending, okay, with these, and I'll call it dry blending, where you kind of have your dry brush and you sort of blend it together with a kind of a brush, kind of dry brushing ways. If you want, I will do a video on blending, okay, on the different techniques of blending. But if you want to pop round one time when we've got lockdown gone, we can have a one-to-one and I'll sort of show you my blending, because I mean, I'm not the best, but there's a good way of doing it where you pick your dark color first, pick your medium color, then pick your light color, and then basically all you use to paint is water, and you just get water and then you just dab it, and then you just like slide up from your dark, down from your light, and then you just mix it in between. Okay, so that's a nice simple sort of basic technique of just using water when you've got your text to go into it. I'd be well up for that, dude. Excellent. Yeah, well, we'll call it a date, Col. We'll have that. You can come around one day and bring some games as well. Bring that game, and I'll have a play of that old Warhammer Death Fleet or Dread Fleet, whatever it's called. We'll have a game of that. That'll be good. Well, we'll do some painting and we'll play that and get it on the channel. You know, maybe bring some armies or whatever. Make a full day of it. That'd be cool. So, yeah. Right. Well, big shout out to everybody who came on tonight and sort of supported me. Thank you very much. We had Fizz. Thanks for joining. We had Underdog Painting. We had Adam Harbinger. Yeah, Harbinson. That's the one. Harbinson. Thanks for watching. Phil, thanks for coming on from Studio 267 Gaming. Go check him out. He's got a Twitch account. He's on Wednesday, and he's going to be doing a 40k battle report. So go and check him out. Col, thanks for coming on and asking questions. And by all means, we, you've got my number and stuff. Come round. We'll see what we could do with the painting. Who else did we have on there? We had Doggo, didn't we? Let's have a look. David Harrison, thanks for coming up. I know you might have had a bit of issue with your video, but I'm glad you've come on. Sport, thanks very much. Dave Doggy, thanks for coming up. Thanks for supporting the channel. If you can, if anybody hasn't subscribed yet, please don't forget to subscribe. I'm going to try and work out this live streaming malarkey. See if I can make it better and a bit more visually attractive, shall we say. You know, I might get a female on board, get my wife to come along and sit along, make it better for you. All right. But yeah, thanks for coming up. Any more? Doogie, Underdog, done you. Yes, Adam, said you. Said everybody. So Brad as well. Yeah, so Brad, thanks for coming on as well. All right. If I've missed anybody out, I apologize. I'm just going through all of the live chat now to see who's here. So yeah, thanks for all for coming and taking part. And if you can, go and subscribe to Underdog Painting. There's also a really good one that I'm watching at the moment. If you fancy a bit of, they're doing orcs and Space Wolf stuff. It's called Frost and Fist. They're over the pond. Two guys go by Wolf Brother Mythos and Wolf Brother Freak. Go check them out from Fist and Frost. I've been following them at the moment. They're doing some live stuff, so I've been watching them. So go and check them out as well. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. And I'm going to be doing another one sometime soon. I'll just have to figure it all out. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. And from Geeks of the Realm, take care.